Hello, hi, good evening, and welcome on our live workshop. I am so happy that you're here with us today. My name is Frankie Kington, and before we go into the workshop, I'd just like to tell you what this amazing workshop is about. Before we start, I'd like to thank a few people who are always working behind the scenes to really help this workshop work for me and Jomer Deleon. So I'd like to thank this amazing platform, this global speakers talk community, where I met my dear friend Jomer Deleon. And this global speakers community is for people like myself and like Jomer, and for them people a little bit shy to come on video, or just starting out in business as a business venture. Could be an entrepreneur, could be an entrepreneur, you could be in a successful job or a profession, and you feel like you want to speak on camera. So this amazing global speakers community platform, what we have here, Speakers Talk, really helps them people who are lacking a little bit of confidence in themselves and they want to speak on video to gain that confidence in a really safe environment around some amazing people all over the world. So this platform has around about 900 members, and they speak every single day on this platform. They do videos for 4 to 5 minutes, or they can speak longer. And through the year, every month, we get a chance to do a forum or what we call a summit, where people speak from all over the world on a video for 10 or 20 minutes. And you can do that on this live global speakers community talk. So it's really a great place for you to practice talking and speaking and harnessing your skills on video so you can get really comfortable with the camera. So yeah, and that's why I'm here today, and that's what I've actually done. So it's really made me confident speaking in front of the camera. And I'd like to thank, as always, some amazing ladies from the Global Speakers Community Talk, and Gigi Pintiani, Anshu Tirare, and our lovely Lisa Marie Albinova, who's always supported us behind the scenes, and you amazing men as well. You're all very inspiring. So thank you so much for that. So this workshop today, I'm here with my dear friend Jomer Deleon, and this workshop is the interactive learning forum for young adults. And me and Jomer Deleon share our experiences of why it's important to work with young adults like what we do, and how we can inspire them to be the leaders of the 21st century. And we share our knowledge, our expertise, and our profession, and how we've helped people in our fields to become amazing entrepreneurs or thought leaders or people making a difference in people's lives and in society. So now I'd like to introduce Jomer Deleon, because this workshop is about getting to know my dear friend Jomer Deleon. Would you like to just say a few words, Jomer, just to say hello and thanks for being here again? Looking forward to this.
Well. Welcome. And as I said earlier, every month we have this event, and I always look forward to it. I always learn something from our time together. And to all who are watching, thank you for taking the time to join us. And I just want to kind of what our friend Frankie said earlier. Global Speaker Talk, it's been part of my life for the last 3 years, or probably a little bit more, think about it. I still remember the first day, the first video that I created, and I didn't even know how to do it, but I just did it, and then, wow, so that's how you do it. And I've been part of Global Speaker Talk since that day. And as you said, Anshu, Andrea, Lisa Marie, you guys have been the foundation of this group. And I personally thank you for all the things that you have done from the very beginning and continue to do. Thank you so much. Yeah, I know you guys are busy as well, but yet here you are. You guys are putting all the necessary effort to make sure that I and other members have a platform to communicate what we truly value, and also a platform where we can come together to find ways to encourage each other and also to learn from each other as well. So thank you, ladies, for your faithful, undying devotion to our group. So, so yes, this is all about me. I know it sounds so self-centered, but really what it is about it's just story of my life, story of my upbringing, the people who influenced me, how I got to where I am in relation to how I became a coach, how I became a fitness coach and as a life coach, the things that where I find my hope, where I find courage and also ways to overcome challenges. So that's pretty much what this segment's all about. And along with it, lessons that you or young adult in your household or a friend that you might know um, might gain a nugget or two, and how to live a life that is a life well lived is a life of service. So, Frankie, it's all yours, my friend.
Oh my Jomer, thank you so much, Jomer, for introducing yourself. You are an amazing guy. And yeah, remember, it's a live interaction learning forum for young adults and for audiences
Yeah.
as well, and just for people who really want to embrace this workshop. And your comments and feedback makes this workshop even more special than what it actually is. So thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. And now I'm going to ask my dear friend, Jomer Deleon, some questions about him and about his life. Because I'm really intrigued with Jomer Deleon. He's a great guy. And I want to share some of the insights on Jomer Deleon's life and why it's important for all of us to know. So my first question, Jomer Deleon, my dear friend, tell me a little bit about yourself. Tell me a little bit about your life. I'd love to hear that.
Yeah, so let me start with I came from Philippines. I was born in Philippines, came here in 1987. And growing up, there are four people who highly influenced my life. And they are my grandfather, my grandma, my mom, and my dad. And all four of them invested their life and energy in me. The wisdom that they gave me growing up, I still cherish, I still truly value. One thing, when I was preparing for this, one of the things I thought about is that the influence of grandparents and parents to their children. Sometimes we're not paying attention that our children are really observing in how we live our lives, and sometimes they're learned through not necessarily in what we tell them, but they learn from how we live our lives. And that's one thing I've learned from my grandfather. Not only I've learned from their words, what they taught me through their words, but also through their action as well. As I said, my grandfather, my grandma, my mom, and my dad influenced me, and they have an influence in how I see life and the meaning and the purpose of life. Because of them, I live my life this way. A life well lived is a life of service. A life well lived is a life of service. My grandfather taught me this. He said, Jomer, learn to have cordial, meaningful conversation with people, especially with the ones who disagree with you. Sometimes it can be very difficult to have cordial, meaningful, caring conversation when the other person that you're talking to disagree with what you're saying. But yet, that's one thing he taught me, is that learn to have conversation with the people who disagree with you in a cordial, respectful manner. So that's one thing my grandfather taught me. And my grandma, what she taught me is this. Well, let me start with this. My grandma, in my eyes, she was a teacher who did not need a classroom to teach. The whole world was her classroom. We can be in a supermarket and she will teach me a lesson based on what just happened in the supermarket. She could be in Macy's buying her stuff for hair facial. And next thing you know, she'll teach me a lesson about, did you see what happened over there? Yeah, so she used it wherever we were, she was teaching me. And one thing is that she taught me and ingrained in me is that whatever you do, do it well. Whatever you do it well. It's a lesson that my grandma taught me, and she taught me through cleaning the bathroom. Believe it or not, that's how she taught me. At a very young age, around 14 or 15 years old, I lived with her for many years. On every Saturday, I'm responsible for cleaning the bathroom. And Saturday is cartoon day, so especially in the morning. So I want to watch cartoons, but at the same time, my grandma said, no, come back here, clean the bathroom. So what I would do is I'll clean the bathroom as fast as I can so I can go back watching the cartoon. What a mistake it was. Because as soon as I said I'm done, she'll go to the bathroom and check what I did. And then, no, come back here. No, come back here. You're not done yet. No, come back here. No, come back here. So, so she taught me this principle of whatever you do, do it well. And she taught me by teaching me to be responsible in cleaning the bathroom. So my grandma has her unique way of teaching life lessons. And I know that also you're going to ask me questions about my mom and my dad, so I'm going to reserve those later about the lesson that I'll learn from my mom, my dad. But yeah, there are 4 people who greatly influenced me: my grandfather, my grandma, and mom and my dad growing up.
I love what you talked about. It's really important that you have real fond and valid memories of the parents of the people in your life.
Yeah.
And you've just shared that, Joan, which was really a lot of fun and a bit of camaraderie there. So, and because the grandparents are like that, aren't they? They're really great people to be around. They have so much knowledge, they have so much wisdom, and they have so much to offer you, haven't they, as people? And we really need so much from them. They're like wise people, aren't they? Really valuable in our lives.
Yes.
So, Jomer, this leads me to my next question, which you've just touched on. Our mum and our dads, they're our parents. And our parents are very special to our lives. Yeah. Give me 3 characteristics from your mum and from your dad, which have been instilled in your life, but you've learned to carry away with you and made you the person that you are today. 3 characteristics of your mum and your dad, your parents, please.
Man, it's hard to give 3 characteristics. And what I mean by it's not that it's they don't have any. It's just the fact that they have so many positive characteristics that it's very difficult to pinpoint. These are the 3 things, right? So let me answer that question. What is the thing that my mom and my dad taught me that I carry with me until now? I think that's probably a better way to answer your question. So let me start with this. My mom was born with a health condition, specifically heart condition. She had an enlargement of the heart. So from the very young age, she struggled with her health. She couldn't really participate in sports because her heart weren't be able to support all the runnings, all the jumpings, and all those things. So that would not be a good thing for her. And it was very common when I was growing up that I would leave for school early in the morning, and then when they pick me up, we're going straight to the hospital because my mom just had one of her episodes. So that was part of her life, and also my experience with my mom was that. But yet, she taught me one thing. She taught me so many things, but there's one thing that I still remember clearly. And again, it's not what she taught by words, but how she lived her life is how I learned this lesson. And this lesson is that I learned from my mom is do not let your quote unquote bad health stop you from pursuing your dreams and helping other people. Okay? Don't let your bad health stop you from being productive and finding ways to help other people. See, my mom, she was a business lady. She led a very successful store in Philippines, and she did it for many years, even though she had that heart condition that she struggled with every single day. But every time she was healthy, she was productive. Every time she was healthy, she was helping. So that's a lesson that she taught me is do whatever you can do And the things that you can't do, don't let that stop you from performing the things that you're able to do. Right? She didn't focus on, oh, I can't do this, therefore I shouldn't be doing these things as well. But rather she said, well, you know what? Yeah, my health is not as good as I want it to be, but there's still other things that I know I can stay active and productive and finding ways to help other people. So that's what my mom taught me. Work hard, never stop you from doing the things that you know you're able to do. My dad, a little bit of story about my dad. So my time with my dad was very limited when I was growing up. And the reason for it is because he had to work in Saudi Arabia from the time, if my memory serves me correctly, I think it started when I was 6 years old. And then all the way to early teens, he was working in Saudi Arabia. So my time with my dad would be 2 months out of the year in those years, from probably six years old until about 12 or 13. So my time is very limited with my dad. And one thing I've learned with my dad as well, and again, it's about hard work. See, my dad taught me this. He said, do whatever you need to do. Do whatever sacrifice that you have to sacrifice to provide and to protect your family. And that's what my dad taught me by observing how he lived his life. Is that do whatever is necessary for you to protect and to provide for your family. And that's exactly what he did. He sacrificed being away from us so he can provide roof and clothes and food for me and my mom. I'm sure if he could have stayed in Philippines and work and provide those things, he would have stayed. But he understood that there was no opportunity for him to be able to provide that if he would have stayed in the Philippines. So he took this job on the other side of the world to be 10 months away from us that whole entire year. So simply he can provide for us and protect us. So that's what my dad taught me in how he lives his life, is that be willing to sacrifice, be willing to provide and protect your family. Another lesson that my dad taught me is that do whatever is needed. Be ready to pay the price to master your craft. What I mean by that, he was an excellent mechanic, amazing mechanic. And so how he became an excellent mechanic was when, if I recall correctly, he was in college, early years of his college, he took auto mechanic school and he fell in love. And what he did was he invested more the extra time in learning his craft that he became so good at it. For example, while they were in class, they would have a lunch break. So during lunch break, a lot of the students, they'll take their lunch, but my dad will go back to the auto shop and use that time to learn. He did that, every single day, and he became really good at it. So that's one thing my dad taught me, is that to master your craft, you have to invest time in it. You have to be willing to learn and learn and learn and learn to master your craft. So those are the things that I've learned from my parents. Work hard. Don't let your health stop you from serving other people. And also my dad, from a father's point of view to a son, says, do what's required. Be willing to sacrifice what's required so you can provide and protect your family. Those are the lessons that I've learned from my mom and my dad.
Thank you so much for that, Jomer Deleon. Some really amazing points what Jomer's touched on there. I love the way he talked about his mum and his mother's illness. It's really important as well, ladies and gentlemen, that we all have illness. Illness is part of our lives. As I said, the health is wealth. Without health, we don't have anything. And his mum had amazing characteristics to work with ill health and to really do the best what she could be. And that's really inspiring to know that we have people like that, because it really inspires us and shows us the way and be that role model for us that with ill health, we can still achieve what we want to achieve in our lives. So really thank Jomer Deleon for actually sharing that. And then he talked about his lovely father, yeah, who he talked about as well. He only had a limited time with him, but I'm sure, like I've been through that myself with my father. What John was trying to say, that limited time what he had with his father was probably the most valuable time for him to spend with his father.
Yep.
And I like the way his father, for me, was like a true man. He sacrificed everything to protect his family. I love that. He shows a sign of a man who's responsible for his family and loves his family, but he's creating values for his family and for himself, so that his son, Jomer Deleon, can learn something from him, which is really valuable. So I loved how he said that, yeah, that his dad would do anything for his family. And what else I touched on, ladies and gentlemen, for our young guardians and adults, is that he talked about his dad being the best in his profession, in his field of work. And
Yep.
honestly, Beav, if you're passionate about something, that's exactly what Jomer's dad did. He wanted to be the best at it. So he put time and effort into something what he's really passionate about. And that's really important, yeah, because we want to be the best, don't we? And we want to pass it on to our families or our next generation. So some really clear points here, what Jomer has shared about his parents, and I thought they were absolutely amazing for our young adults and our audience to really take on board. So I really hope you've got something from that, and you can give us some feedback and some comments about that. We'd really like to hear about your thoughts on that. So my next question to my dear friend Jomer Deleon. Jomer, how do you create values in society? Because values are really important. And why should our young adults and our audience understand the importance of values?
That's a loaded question, very important question. Values. Why values are important, right? What are the purpose of values? How does values affect me? Let's start with that. In my understanding of values and their purpose, see, when we are clear with our personal values, life values, they provide as guide. They provide directions in our lives. Having strong conviction with our values, it also prevents us from being swayed from all different directions in life. Here's an example. Imagine an empty paper cup in a big parking lot. Okay, you see that in your head? Empty paper cup in the middle of the parking lot. See, an empty paper cup, every time the wind blows, right? If this is a paper cup, every time the wind blows, what happens? The cup goes this way, the cup goes that way, it falls forward, it falls back. It doesn't have a sense of direction. It doesn't have anything to hold it down to stay where it needs to be. So, but having a clear values, it'll be the same thing as having a paper cup, but inside the paper cup are pebbles. And each pebbles represents your core values about life, about who you are, about the direction of where you should pursue. So what happens is when you have a cup and full of pebbles, which is your values, it's a lot difficult to get swayed by every teachings out there. Sometimes they're not even some of the teaching you hear, they're not even consistent with who you are, but you fall for it anyway because you don't have a clear values. So having a clear values help us to stay on the track that we know it's meaningful and purposeful for us. It provides this, it allows us to make the right decision. Should I buy a car or should I not? Well, it depends on what your values when it comes to money. Should I go to pursue my education? Should I pursue my education or should I not? Well, it depends on how you value education. What is your value? What's your understanding? What's the purpose of education? So having clear values allows us to make wise decision. That's one of the importance of having clear values. So as a young adult, I would highly suggest for you to start thinking about what are your personal life values. When you say this is my life, what value are you putting in your life? When you say I value my business, for example. But what does that mean? What does that mean for you to value your business, or what does it mean for you to value your pursuit of education? What does that mean? Why? So that would be my reason for why values are very important in your life and in my life. They provide the guidance that we need. What are my? I think you said, what are my personal 3 values? Now that I define how I understand values, here are my 3 values. One of them is this: to use my God-given gift and talents to help and serve others. That's one of my core values, is to use my God-given gift and talents to serve other people. So how does that help me in making decision? Well, just kind of back to that cup of water. I mean, empty cup, right? So if I'm being introduced some certain teachings or philosophies or beliefs that contradicts my conviction of using my skills to serve and help other people, then it's easy for me to say, no, I don't accept that conviction. I don't accept that teaching. I don't accept that value. I don't accept that philosophy, because it contradicts one of my core values, which is to use my God-given skills and talents to serve other people. My other core value is this: is never stop learning, growing, and serving. Never stop learning, growing, and serving. That's another personal core value of mine. So guess what? Because these are one of my core values, I'm always attentive to the things that will help me grow, learn, and open opportunities to serve, because that's one of my core values. So I'm always attentive to, will this opportunity allow me to grow? Will this opportunity allow me to learn? Will this opportunity allows me to serve? See, I can say yes or no because I have a clear understanding of my value. Never stop learning, never stop growing, and never stop serving. My third conviction is this: is to live my life consistently with my faith. Okay? To live my life consistent with my Christian faith. That's my core value. Here's one thing I know, and maybe you can relate to this. When we live our life inconsistent to something that is meaningful and purposeful, it stops us from being able to fully enjoy our experiences in life. So one of my conviction is my personal value is to make sure to live my life every single day as much as I can, consistent with my Christian faith. So again, that provides me a guidance. Going back to the empty cup, right? If there are some teachings or beliefs or anything that try to pull me away, and I say, no, I don't have to go to that direction because it's not consistent with my conviction about my faith. So again, having clear values gives you some guidance in what you should do, what you should not do. Having clear values give you deeper, stronger convictions, so you won't get swayed easily by every thought and beliefs and philosophies out there. And it gives you a lot of courage to anchor down, facing difficulties and challenges, and say, no, I don't have to do that. No, I don't have to accept your teaching and belief because it goes against my core values. So that I hope that kind of answer your question, Frankie, about importance of values and what my values are.
Amazing, Jomer. It really, really does. And I love the way you give that description of having a cup. So if you have an empty cup or a plastic cup and you put it on a table, you can go like that with your little finger, can't you? Flick it and it'll just go over.
Yes.
But like Jomer said, if you've got a lot of stones in the bottom of that cup or a plastic cup and you try to flick it, it's more harder to fall over, isn't it? So what Jomer's trying to say is the more grounded we are, the more centered we are with our values, yeah, the more we can understand them in the depths of our life. And like what I talked about before about having strong characteristics, because I want our audience and our young adults to know this, what it really means for us to be really happy, healthy, and successful, about strong characteristics and about having values, but there's core values. And these core values are values what you use in your day, every single day. And these core values make you the person who you are. And the values, because you're putting these values into practice in your life. That's why the values which help you live a happy and creative life and a productive life for other people. So audience, and our young audience as well, and our young youth and our young adults, think about your core values. Think about the values, what you created in your life. And think how they have an effect on your life and how they can have an effect on the wider world and your family and your community and people around you. And why they're core values to you. Are you living them out? Are you putting them into practice? Because that builds who we are as a character and builds our values as well and makes us an even more grounded person to succeed where we need to succeed. So really hope you've got some really great information from that question, what have I said? Second question for Jomer. And now I'm going to go into my third question, which is going to be quite a few different questions, 3 or 4 questions into one for Jomer. And I'm really looking forward for him to answer these questions. So Jomer, I'm going to talk to you about the word hope. And it's something that I instill. Why is it important for our audience and for our young adults and our youth? Why is it important for them to live with hope? Why is it important for them to live with hope? Why is hope important?
This question is very close to the last question that you asked. What's the importance of values? What is hope? Well, here's how I define hope. Hope is like the fuel. It acts like a fuel and also a cheerleader. Here's what I mean. Imagine a big sports car with very, very strong, powerful engine that's so powerful that it can move from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. That's a very powerful car. Now, the thing about this car is, even though it has a strong, powerful engine, but if it doesn't have fuel, this powerful car is not going anywhere because it doesn't have the fuel to move it. So hope is like that fuel. You know, we can have big, colossal dreams and passion to achieve great things in life, and it's so visual, clear to you as to how you want your life to matter. But if you don't have a sense of hope that this is possible, then it'll be the same thing as having that muscular, super strong vehicle that doesn't have any fuel. It's not going anywhere, right? So it's the same thing. So you have a clear vision, understanding of where you want your life to be. But if you don't have a sense of hope that this is possible to achieve and to attain, then most likely you're not going to go, you're not going to take that required action to move closer to your dreams if you know there's no hope for being able to attain it. So that's the one value of hope. It acts as a fuel, as a motivator, as a mover from, as one person says, from the invisible world, which is in our head, to something physical where we can touch and see and smell. Hope also acts as a cheerleader. When we're down, we know that life is not a straight line where everything's smooth. It ups and downs, ups and downs. Sometimes it requires so much time to go up. Will this ever stop? The struggles and challenges before you can actually experience the top of the mountain and enjoy the work that you put in climbing up. So hope acts like a cheerleader. It says, you know what? This is difficult right now, but guess what? You can do this. Now, that's what hope is, and how I see it. It's like a cheerleader. Come on, you can do it. One more step. One more step. This is possible. This is possible, right? Look what you have accomplished the last year, where you were, where you are now. So that's one of the things how I see the role of the hope in our lives is like cheerleader. So that's why my perspective of hope in life is so crucial, because it moves us from dreaming to taking action, so we may live the life that we see and understand is meaningful and purposeful for us. Hope is also important because it is the one that cheers us on when we face struggles and difficulties in pursuit of our dreams and goals. Does that make sense, Frankie, why hope is a crucial and vital component of our life?
That really makes sense, Jomer, because you always explain it so clearly. It really makes sense, yeah. I love the way you talked about this big vehicle, because sometimes when you're young, or when I was young, and people do it now, they hope I can have a big car, a big vehicle. And I hope that I can have the money to buy this big car and this big vehicle. So what we're trying to say, Jomer, is so many people, that's why I asked it, use the word hope. But are they using that word hope and understanding it in the depths of their life? That hope is a very powerful word, but to take action, and to take meaning behind that word hope, you can make your dreams come true. Because we always say the word hope, but do we mean it? Do we understand in the depths of our life what the word hope means and how important it is to live with hope? When you think as well, Jomer Deleon, how many people have you seen around the world who've lived with hope in hopeless situations and came out of it, come out of it a victor, come out of it a winner, because they've always had that hope, that belief that they can change it. They've always dug deep because they believe that there's something to hold on to, like you said, there's something valuable for me to change. Or, you know, I have the characteristics to live onto that hope, to make the situation better for me as well. So hope is very important, isn't it, Jomer? And I think as well, when we live with hope, we go to the depths of who we are in our lives. It really creates a lot of, values, or a lot of aspects or qualities of our life that we don't know about. So that's why it's important to live with hope. We get to learn so much about ourselves. You know, it takes us to a certain amount of vast spaces of knowledge, you know, in our minds and around the universe of what is possible, what we can achieve. And I love the way Jomer explained about the ups and downs of life. It's like a roller coaster, isn't it? It's like the waves on the ocean or the sea. They're never calm, are they? They're always going up and down and wavering. And I honestly believe when you live your life like that, ups and down and the waves, you build more of a strong characteristics and your values are a lot more stronger in your life. So when you're going up and down like that, your characteristic and your values are a lot more stronger in your life. It shows your true strength and character of who you are. Like rugged terrain or going, having that Jeep going over the rugged terrain or over the desert or over the mountains or over the, driving and it's bumping here and there, or a Jeep Safari where it's exciting and exhilarating. So remember that, yes. Remember the values of living with hope. It's not always smooth. It's not always plain sailing. You have to have them rugged ups and downs and that rugged terrain and them challenges and that, riding the waves as well to give us strength in our hope and our ability to be an amazing person in society. Like this gentleman is here, Jomer Deleon. So, Jomer, my second question around hope, and I hope the audience and the young adults have really gained some real knowledge about that. Your feedback and comments are really important. I'm going to talk another aspect of hope. Yeah. Name me a time in your life, where you've really had to live with hope, or situations that you felt really maybe where you didn't feel hope, where you felt a little bit hopeless or a little bit desperate, or you like that person or like that duck who's swimming on the water and it looks fine on the top, but underneath your legs are like that, you're battling to keep up. Is that explain that clear to you, Jomer, where you've had to live with hope or you come to across a hopeful situation?
Well, probably the most recent struggles that I faced, and I have to dig deep on my faith, which is the anchor of my hope. When pandemic started, I was working in a gym. That was what I did as a fitness coach, and suddenly we were told that the gym will close, and we don't know what's going to reopen again because of the pandemic. So suddenly, I like, what am I going to do? I still have my financial responsibilities. I still have my financial responsibilities to my family. The creditor won't stop asking for them to get paid simply because the gym that I worked that closed. They still want to get paid. So it was a tough decision. It was a very tough decision. So what am I going to do? And I still have my responsibilities. So again, I went back to what I know, what will anchor me down, which is my faith. And that's another thing also about hope, is that understand, where does your hope rest in? Where does it anchored in? Right? For example, I hope my hope in fulfilling a successful life is to myself, for example, right? Well, you better understand yourself so clearly that your hope will be so strong in depending on yourself. What I mean by that is the more we understand the source of our hope, the stronger our hope becomes. So going back to what I said, when I was having a difficult time, I went back to what I know, what will help me stay grounded, which is my faith in Christ. And from there, I started asking questions. I said, okay, what can I do? Right? What can I do? Well, I never done online training session before, but I can learn. Right? I can learn. So that's what I did. I had to learn the hard way to do online training session because I never done it before. And in the process of learning, it wasn't easy. I mean, it was a learning curve. I didn't even know Zoom. Well, I have no clue what Zoom was. Suddenly, I have to learn how to use it. You have to learn to use this thing. And for 2 months, I didn't know how to turn the audio in Zoom. So I would have my phone as my audio and video on my laptop because I didn't know how to turn it. I didn't know how to work it up. But it was a learning curve for me. But the whole entire time, I ran to my hope, which is my faith, knowing that the God who I serve will sustain me through and give me the wisdom and the knowledge that I need to achieve the things that I know I need to achieve at that time, so I can stay productive and continue to provide and to protect for my family, even though it was a very difficult time. So that's one thing, probably the most recent difficulty that I had to face and really be grounded. Pretending hope as well. What will help people, right? I think what will inspire people when it comes to live with hope. One of the things is be clear in how you want to live your life. Clarity, right? Clarity birth something in us. Sometimes it's courage, because you know exactly where you want to go with your life. There's certain courage, boldness that comes with clarity. So that's one thing. One thing to strengthen our hope is try to find some clarity and certainty in where you want your life to move towards to. Another way to strengthen our hope is to see struggles as part of life's journey towards your greatness. See life struggles as part of journey to achieve your greatness. How we view struggles in life will either motivate us to move forward, or it becomes a shackle on our feet that stops us from moving forward based on how we view life struggles. Is this struggle preparing me for something great, or is this struggle pulling me down to live the life that I know I'm capable of doing? So how we view struggles also will either strengthen our hope or weakens our hope. The last one is this: take massive action. Take massive personal action. People I know who takes great ownership of their life, often those are the ones that are more really hopeful and have a strong hope that they can achieve the things that they want to achieve. So take massive personal responsibility and ownership as another way to strengthen and develop hope in someone's life. Is that clear, Frankie?
It's very, very clear, Jomer. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. And he's very, very specific about hope. And I hope you really understood what Jomer was talking about hope, having a clear direction and where you want to go in life. Maybe when you have a clear direction where you want to go in life, you live with that hope, because it may be that you may be reaching a certain goal, and that goal may be 5 to 10 years down the line. But you're hoping that I'm going to get to my goal and my determination down the line. So I create them all the little steps and all them values, what we talked about, to get to where we need to be, which gives us hope. There's so many people around the world as well who inspire us to live with hope. And I think that's really important, to learn something from everybody who we meet, to learn something around people who you feel have really given us hope to carry on living and to really understand what that means for our life. So, Jomer, thank you for the information, what you really shared there for our audience and for our young adults. I think it's really valuable, and I think it's really important that they'll know the importance of living with hope. Because I know the importance, and you know the importance of living with hope.
Mm-hmm.
The people who come to us as life coaches and as wellness coaches, we're giving them hope so that they can change, or they can succeed, or they can change something in their lives. And they can become more probably happy and more fulfilled in their lives, because we're all looking for happiness and fulfillment, and we need people to do that. So thank you so much, Jomer Deleon. I'm touching on that question. And the next question now, Jomer, around hope is we are coaches, and coaches really care about people. People come to us because they feel that they may have a solution or something to solve in their life, which they're really struggling with, a problem or something they cannot overcome. How do we give people hope then, Jomer? If somebody comes through the door, how do you give people hope? What do you say to that person to make him hopeful to fulfill his dreams?
Man, that's a loaded question. Uh, let, let, so I would say that there's one thing. There's one thing that is very vital when it comes to either strengthening your hope that you already know you have, or you try to find hope at the moment. It's my conviction that it starts with one thing. It doesn't stop here, but it has to start here. And ownership. Taking personal ownership. What do I mean by that? What do I mean by this? What do I mean by ownership is this. I, Jomer, must be willing to learn and do whatever is required for me to achieve the things that I know are achievable in my life. I, Jomer, must take full ownership of what is required of me to live a life that I know that is possible for me. See, if I'm not willing to take ownership, you can forget about strengthening your hope. You can forget about cultivating hope without taking personal ownership. Because as soon as I'm taking responsibility, I'm taking ownership, it puts me in a position of control. I'm going to do this. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to pursue this. I'm not going to pursue that. Right. So by doing that, it creates a sense of control, which births a certain type of strength of hope by taking personal responsibility for myself. So that's the first thing. Second thing is awareness. What do I mean by awareness? Being aware of what's working and what's not working in your life. What are the things that you're doing that's pulling you away from what's truly meaningful for you? What are the things that you're doing that it enhances your courage and strength and hope? So by understanding what's working, what's not working, what's pushing you towards greatness, to what's pulling you away from greatness, that itself also can cultivate hope because it provides direction. I'm going to avoid doing X because every time I do it, it weakens my hope. It discourages me. But every time I do Y, it strengthens my courage. It builds up my courage. So therefore, I'll do more of this. So by simply being aware of what's supporting you and what's damaging you, it's a huge component of cultivating and strengthening the hope that we have. Honesty. After you become aware of what's eating you up, after you become aware of you're not really producing the way you know you're able to produce, so you can attain and achieve the life that you want to have, then you have to be brutal honest. How do I feel about that? My life is not where it is. How do I feel about I'm doing things that are detrimental to my own life journey? How do I feel about I'm not really performing that I know I'm able to perform? Right? Be honest about that thing. Do you hate it? And if you do, you should. And if you don't, why not? If it's pulling you away from what's really meaningful for you, right? So being honest about it's a huge component of building and strengthening your hope. And then willing to take the required action. What action I must do today that will strengthen my hope? What action should I do today that will cultivate a deeper conviction that the life that I'm pursuing is possible for me? And what action must I take that will move me towards to this ideal life that I know I'm capable of doing? So take clear, massive action. The last one is perseverance. It's a huge component. Perseverance. Perseverance, in simple way I define it, is keep doing the things that you know the right thing to do, even though you're not seeing the fruit of your action at the moment. I know it's very challenging. It's kind of like lifting, going back to the gym, lifting weights. You put in all the hours that you putting in, but yeah, you don't really see the muscles developing immediately, and sometimes it can be very discouraging. But just know this though, though you might not be seeing the fruit of your labor right now, you will see them down the road if you stay consistent, if you persevere in doing the required action that you need to take. And there's a time to plant and there's time to harvest. It'll be foolish for me to start harvesting when really the season is for planting. I will not find fruits during the time of the time of planting. It will just discourage me. So when I understand that part of perseverance is keep planting the seeds that I need to plant day in, day out. So when it's time to harvest, I say, wow, look what I did. Look what my perseverance have brought me. So understand there's a time to plant and there's a time to harvest. And in between those two things is be faithful in doing the things that you need to do so you may achieve the things that you know you're able to achieve. So that's my long response to your question.
It's a long response, Jomer, but it's a great response. It's an amazing response. So it's like planting a seed, isn't it, Jomer? You plant that seed in the soil. Sometimes you think, oh, nothing's happening. Then eventually that seed starts to grow. It's this amazing plant with all leaves and branches. This amazing plant. That's what our lives are like, aren't they? They're actually like that. Yeah. It's like conspicuous benefit and inconspicuous benefit. The conspicuous benefit, we see it every day. But the inconspicuous benefit is maybe the habits, what you keep having to do every single day. And you think, oh, these habits, they're not bearing fruit, or that plant's not growing, or like you said, that it's not harvesting and stuff. But over a certain amount of time, just you chipping away at just one little habit, one little value each day starts to grow and grow and grow and develop. And as Jomer said, perseverance is key to everything. Patience as well is a key to everything, and breaking through a seeming impasse, really important to have that. So we talked about strong characteristics, we talked about having core values, and then we talked about living with hope. And me and Joe obviously believe that for our younger generation audience, these three values or virtues they need, and their qualities they need for their lives to be happy, grounded, and successful in the world today. So this is why we're really talking about it. And I really hope the information what you shared is really valuable for you to live with hope and understanding the importance of it. Because the more you understand these in the depths of your life, the more, as John was just talking about, we talked about planting the seed and harvesting, the more stronger that tree, that plant grows. That harvesting really strengthens our life. It strengthens our life force. It gives us that conviction to live up to our dreams and to fulfill what we need to fulfill in our lives. So thank you so much, Jomer, for sharing it the way that you did. And I'm going to ask you one last question now, Jomer, and then we're going to get out of here. And I really hope that the audience have really enjoyed our platform, and I really hope that they've interacted. So, Jomer, one person who has encouraged you to live with hope, who you would love to meet, say, on a day, have some dinner, have some laughs. One person who's give you hope, to live the life that you've lived, you really look up to, who's really inspired you. Because the audience and younger adults need to have the same aspiration. Somebody who's giving you hope, you'd like to meet, who's inspired you.
There's so many people. I mean, I can create a long list, and we'll be here forever. and I'm sure that's not the audience want to do. So I would say this, that there is a gentleman who I've never met, and he lived around 1500s, and he was a pastor, he was a writer as well. His name is Andrew Murray, and I would love to meet him. I got introduced to his work, and there's this one book that I just love it, and the title of it is Abiding in Christ, Abiding in Christ. And the whole premise of the book is finding, as a Christian, is finding my strength, my comfort, my hope in this person named Jesus Christ. It kind of ties into what we were talking about earlier. He wrote the book in a way that it really got me thinking about, to live my life fully, I must rely and depend on the source of my strength, my comfort, and the one that sustains my faith. I would love to meet with him. It kind of ties into a little bit what we're talking about earlier. It says, it's one thing to know this is my hope, and it's totally different level when you understand the reason why your hope rests on this person or this thing, right? So that's one thing I've learned from that book. It's one thing to say my hope is in Jesus Christ, and totally different level to understand why is my hope is in this person who lived 2,000 years ago. So I would definitely love to meet this guy and just have tea with him, and learn from his wisdom, how he lived his life, how he lived his faith. And let me finish with these three words, or three short sentences. A life well lived, is a life of service. I truly believe this. To fully enjoy the life that you have, wherever you are in your life right now, young or towards the end, if we invest our life in how can I come alongside other people and help them grow in their own journey, I think it's one of the best way to invest our life. Understanding that we all need hope to live this life that we're in, and to understand the foundation of your hope is a huge factor in cultivating and strengthening the hope that you have, which helps you in your journey. And the last thing is be clear with your values and my values. What are my personal values? What are my personal convictions in life? Because the more I am clear with my convictions and my values, the more they will provide a clear direction in how I will spend my day, what action I will do, what action I will avoid, by simply having a clear understanding of my core values in life. So those will be the last thing. Live your life in a way that serves other people. Understand your hope and the source of your hope. And lastly, be clear with your core values. Frankie?
You hear that? Be clear with your core values. Living with hope. All them amazing points what Jomer Deleon's just really touched on. Yeah. Having the conviction. I think it's really important as well, Jomer, like what you talked about. We talked about strong characteristics. We talked about core values. We talked about living with hope. These are real meaningful skills that we should value, real meaningful to our lives, because the more we can live like that in our lives and the more we can master these amazing words, what we've talked about, the more powerful that we can be for our own lives and for other people's lives. To really put everything into practice in our own lives. And don't forget, we have the platform with our family. Do whatever it takes to be the best person in your family. Do whatever it takes to be the best person in your profession. Do whatever it takes to live with hope. Dream big, have big goals. Climb them mountains. go over them roller coasters, have them ups and downs, all these little tasks and all these little characteristics, what we talked about, really build you as a person, your strength, your qualities, and your characteristics. But they make you an amazing person and a person who can serve other people and help them. You're the role model to help them grow to develop into the amazing thought leaders or entrepreneurs or leaders or whatever profession they want to be in. And remember to embrace all these qualities, what we talked about. Whatever's happening in your life, never ever be distracted or never let it sway you from where you want to be in your life. Always live with hope. Always be true to who you are. And remember, no matter what's going on, you are an amazing person with amazing gifts. And like you said, what more to live with hope, as Jomer said, with his faith. Look at God. Look at my people in my faith, in my beliefs. They've had to live with hope in hopeful situations. And they've been persecuted. They've had to persevere. And look what they've achieved in their lives and in the world. So really hope you've took really valuable information there from my dear friend, Jomer Deleon. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I'm really proud of him, really, that he's really answered some incredible questions. And he's really given us some really great feedback, hasn't he, audience, on young adults. And I really hope that helps you to grow and to develop. And you've learned something, you've took something really away from what we've talked about, because we feel it's really important for you to know that and what we actually talked about today. So, John, would you want to share any more last thoughts with our audience and our young adults about what we talked about, or where they can find you, or what would inspire them?
Yeah. Let me speak to the young adults. Make your life matter. Make your life matter. And live it in a way that shows your passion in life. Live it in a way that adds value in people's lives. And the last thing I want to say is that we live in a world that different ideas exist. Different convictions, different beliefs exist. But yet, part of living our life is being true to ourselves. So sometimes the challenge becomes, how can I live my convictions in a world that different values and beliefs exist? My recommendation is this, is that always be respectful, always show kindness to other people who hold different beliefs than you, as you strongly, firmly stand your ground in your own personal conviction. Be respectful, be caring, be kind, while you're standing your own personal conviction. That would be my last few words.
Thank you so much for that, Jomer. I really appreciated what you said. And I'm sure the audience and the young adults have really got some valuable information. And I really want to thank you for being here today with us on this workshop. It's a Saturday afternoon, and usually we're quite busy with our friends or our families, and we usually do things at the weekend or do things through our weekend. So I really want to thank you for actually being here. You know who you are, you amazing people, Global Speakers Talk community, the people watching this on Facebook, and all who tuned in today, my dear friend Christian as well, Christian Heath. Thank you for being here, Christian. I really hope you got valuable information from what we talked about. Thank you so much, guys. You know where to find me on Facebook, Global Speakers Talk Forum. You know, our Young Forum for Adults here every month. Looking forward to your comments and feedback. Thank you for being here. You know how much me and Jomer appreciate it for you being here and being involved in this workshop, which really helps us grow and develop. And without you, we wouldn't be anything, me and Jomer Deleon. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Warmest wishes to you all. We appreciate you very much. Thank you so much now. Take care and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you so much. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.